Okay. I'll back up a little bit. A tale of courage and honor, loyalty, grace under pressure, and the will to win. He's a young, dedicated soldier sent up the river to kill a rogue agent. He's a drunk, grizzled vet sergeant fighting bureaucratic bullshit to transform a ragtag bunch of misfits into a steely band of killers, leading them to glory in the assault on Grenada. The allegations of this man alone, unsupported, allegations of abuse, his statements available, Peleus, for he is mightier than you. Nevertheless, intel interests dogs and vultures, and a load of grief would be lifted from my damaged Iraq's eyewitness reports life. Both Iraqis cried. The British Academy has committed Muslims. Like people attacking a library. Ragtag, a young glory. An Army Special Forces operative goes up the river. A young man joins the Marines and becomes a photographer and is sent to Vietnam and learns that war is hell is hell. War story. A retired Special Forces operative returns to Vietnam to rescue his POW buddies. This is the story of the center in Washington, D.C., where he practiced for conventions of war. Rules had no way to confirm they were the war near equipment in civilian areas, maintaining Abu Ghraib largely with Iraqis of no intelligence, a lot firmer, particularly his own military. A final atrocity exploited for detainees were meant to be exploited for. Many shops, no coalition forces, prisoners scooped up in this way, soon flooded the keepers, taking all the campaign on the harsh terrain of disadvantages. Nighttime sweeps gave Saddam 48 hours on the harsh terrain of detainees at Abu Ghraib, whomsoever Allah, overcrowding difficulties, the Iraqi Academy of Physical Abuse while stuck here. This is the story of we happy stuck here. This is the story of a ragtag bunch of misfits picked for a suicide mission to stuck here. A young man. From the ragtag clutches, a noble professional Special Forces commando learns that war is young. A young hell and ragtag bunch of all-American misfits fight Japs in the South Pacific and learn war is war. A bunch of ragtag and young ragtag learn the true meaning of discipline and camaraderie and war and war. A young maverick risks everything to save his father from the Libyans. A ragtag bunch of Australians go halfway across the world and learn war is. This is the story, ragtag young man. Stuck here. Stuck here. This is the story of valor, duty, and the cost of war. A young camaraderie. This is the story of a young man who learns war always has a cost. A young wacky. This is the story of a wacky bunch of ragtag misfits trying to escape from Nazi prison. A wacky bunch of ragtag misfits running an army hospital in Korea. A ragtag maverick valor war. This is the story of a young man's war, the story of we happy few. Whenever possible, you should avoid kill zones such as streets, alleys, and parks. Driving the edge of Sadr City through bumper-to-bumper afternoon jam, I heard Lieutenant Krause behind me yell, "Weapon on the left." "What? Where?" the BC shouted. "Pistol. Pistol left side. Blue shirt. Pistol left." Captain Yarrow grabbed the hand mic and I looked left, taking the scene in a glance. First it was a mass of bodies on a corner, and then I picked out two people arguing, a blue shirt, a pistol. Captain Yarrow said something into the mic, and Lieutenant Krause shouted, "He's aiming! He's aiming!" Then two loud bangs behind my head. Brass dinged off my Kevlar and felt burning down the back of my shirt. And my periphery, movement. Iraqis scattered and dove to the ground. "There he goes!" shouted Krause and fired two more times. I scrunched my head into my shoulders like a turtle, closing the gap between my helmet and armor. His empty shells clinked off me. More shooting, ours, into the crowd. Across the street, I saw a woman in black jerk up and swing to the ground. "Cease fire, cease fire," Captain Yarrow shouted. "Keep driving, keep driving." Our windows wide, we sucked down exhaust, refinery smoke, propane, and the reek of sun-baked sewage. Crowds and traffic, buildings looming, cars and stucco, and we come up out of the mess onto the expressway flow at a dead stop. Honking cars clogged the lanes, bumpers scraping fenders, brown faces glaring. Up ahead, we could see American soldiers blocking the road, gun trucks and air guards, some big army go-fuck. IED? Didn't hear anything. Maybe it hasn't gone off. Could be a checkpoint. I think it's an IED. Ahead on the left, Iraqis cut through a gap in the guardrail where a tank had rolled through. We moved slowly forward, filling the space opened by the fleeing cars. If it was a checkpoint, we'd be moving. An Iraqi car started backing toward us, angling for the gap, and I laid on horn. The driver stuck his hat out of his window and pointed to where he wanted to go. I flipped him off and goosed forward, ramming his rear. His hands flew up in anger. Good job, Wilson. You want me to go for that gap, sir? No, we'll wait it out. 25 minutes later, broiling between the sun and the engine, I asked him again about the gap, and he said yes. We edged over, nudging Iraqi cars out of the way with the brush guard, then swung around and took off back the way we came. Captain Yarrow scanned the thick red and blue lines on the street map of Baghdad. He gave me directions across the 3ID bridge and into the green zone, but we got lost and wound up driving on a quiet tree-lined boulevard along the Tigris. We passed a building spray-painted Iraqi Communist Workers' Party and a looted bank. Iraqis ambled along like it was under Dane Linden. Couples holding hands, businessmen talking, heads bowed like mendicants. The smell of the trees cut the stink of exhaust, and in the dappled shade, it seemed we'd fallen through a rabbit hole into some alternate Baghdad, an oasis of brotherhood and peace. Then we came up on a bridge and into the burning sky. Refinery fires lit the horizon. A couple days later was the 4th of July, and to celebrate they had a barbecue at the DFAC, hamburgers and hot dogs, and a Star Wars marathon in the compound's decrepit movie theater. After dinner, as the sun went down, Heels and I and some other guys went up on the roof of our building and smoked. The upper 6 floors were off limits because of snipers. The first few times, we went cautiously for souvenirs. Someone found a framed photo of Saddam. I got a Haji calendar, a picture of some guy getting a award. We also found what the Marines had left, a pile of shit, half-eaten MREs, and graffiti, fuck Iraq, first to fight. Now we went up to watch the city. Sweeping cloverleaf interchanges, satellite dishes, pile-ups in traffic, 6 million souls watching DVDs and blogging, texting each other, hurrying through markets, past cheap carcasses hung to bleed, spice sellers, bags of black dried limes and reed baskets, and old women haggling over okra, children running between stalls and down alleys, faces flickering in brass. Up out of the ancient garden of Sinbad's Baghdad and the nightmare of Saddam's Baathist dystopia grew the fiber optic slums of Tomorrowland, where shepherds on cell phones herded flocks down expressways and insurgents uploaded video beheadings. Everything rising and falling as one. Hammurabi's code and Xboxes, the wheel and the web, Ur to Persepolis to Sykes-Picot to CNN, a ruin outside of time, a 21st century cyberpunk war machine interzone. We watched cars zoom by below while Kaya was whickered overhead. An RPG went off in the distance, yellow sparks were shrieking up at the helicopter ceaselessly circling, and we cheered. Tracers rose and fell across the sky like burning neon. I can't believe how much this place looks like LA, Burnett said. Foster flicked a butt over the side. Were you up here last night? Nah. Wicked firefight. The sun bled magenta across the horizon, and the lights of the shops and cafes carved tiny scallops in the purple night. Cars without headlights flew down the road, weaving crazily. No traffic lights, no cops, no street lamps. We waited for collisions, explosions, gunshots. This stupid fucking place, Burnett said. I don't know why we don't just nuke it. What, Burnett, you want to miss this? This is your war, man. Yeah, I wanted to meet interesting and stimulating people of an ancient culture and kill them. Shut your fucking face, pal, you sick piece of shit. You do not deserve to survive in my corps. You ever notice Bullnickel looks like pie? Better watch out, he might shoot you in your underwear. You better fucking kill me if he thinks he can take my underwear. Come on, Burnett. I know you're a secret Haji lover. You blow your wad every night, drinking with some fat-ass Haji bitch right in your cock all la 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 la. See that bitch today in the blue jeans? Shit hot, just like a fucking American girl. Ass cheeks like melons. Honeydew melons. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Some sweet Haji ass. Fuck that. Haji stink. Shit, you wash up like normal people. Besides, you stink too. Yeah, but I ain't gonna fuck me. Unless you get some Haji twat, you're the only thing that's fucking me. Just let yourself go for a few weeks till you're really filthy, and you won't even notice it. Negative. You probably got fucking disease or some shit. Catch some freaky Muhammad clap. The black syphilis. Hell yeah. They got diseases here you don't even heard of. I heard the PA say, watch out for leishmaniasis. What the fuck's that? We should just fucking nuke this fucking fucked up fuckhole from the fucking start. And we come back and take the oil whenever we want. There was a flash in the distance. Oh shit, you see that? Looked like an IED. An Apache swung low over the gray cloud rising where the flash had gone off. We lit cigarettes as the last of the light faded, watching the Apache dip and swing like a giant angry wasp.